Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. My name is Hetty, the entrepreneur, and I am your host for this podcast conversation. I'm looking forward to today's conversation because we're delving into a topic that one seldom looks into. Our guest is within the medical aesthetic space, which for me is something that is very new. So I'm looking forward to delving into it. How are you feeling about today's upcoming conversation, Papa Biz?
Papa Biz, yeah. No, this is something that I'm looking forward to learning more on. It's quite popular amongst the circles that I get to engage with, and now we'll be able to discuss with the expert in the area.
Absolutely. Today's guest is Dr. Omphemetse Langa, who is a medical aesthetic. She'll give us the proper terminology that we're supposed to use. I'm very excited about the conversation that we're going to have with her because not only is she a medical professional, but she's also an entrepreneur because she's got her own medical aesthetic spa. So that's something that's very exciting. Dr. Langa, welcome.
Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
Doctor.
We are very
you.
excited to have you here today and looking forward to today's conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I think before we delve into what is medical aesthetics and getting into those nitty-gritties, because I'm sure the audience is very interested to learn about that, let's first start off with you, the woman behind the brand, who you are, where you grew up, and tell us a little bit just about your early context for us to know a little bit about you.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited.
Awesome.
My name is Omphemetse Langa. A lot of people get my name wrong.
Okay.
It's not give me water.
Yes.
It's Omphemetse.
Yes.
God protected me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm from very humble beginnings. I was born and bred in Mafeking,
Okay.
in the deep rurals of Mafeking.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to medical school. That is back 10 years ago.
Okay.
I studied in the Medical University of South Africa,
Okay.
which is now called SMU. All right. My passion into becoming a doctor, I think it arose when I stayed with my grandparents.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
they were very sickly people. So I think I took an advantage there of taking care of them.
Okay.
But for me, it actually came from the heart.
Okay.
You know, I used to just to direct them when to take the medication, how to take the medication. And it grew, this passion grew,
Okay.
that I actually visited my doctor so many times.
Really?
Yeah, that my mom started complaining, but what's wrong? You always at this doctor. You know, I had to confess.
Yeah.
I had to confess and say, I actually like what he does.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
And that's when I realized that I actually want to become a doctor.
That is so interesting. Wow.
And in your household, when you were growing up, were you the only child, or what is the setup like?
There's three of us.
Okay.
I've got an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest.
Okay.
So most of the time they're not around.
Okay. What is like the age gap?
My brother is 5 years older than me.
Okay.
And my sister is 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So I'm the youngest. I was left at home with my grandparents, and that's where I took advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And growing up as the baby of the family, where you're always so spoilt, did you feel that you're always so spoilt? I mean,
I think I was, but that came to my advantage.
okay. Okay.
You know, being spoiled doesn't necessarily mean you're not able to do for yourself.
Okay.
You're being shown, you know, you get the privilege of being shown with love and passion. And once you are shown, you learn mostly by seeing than being told. So I think from that perception, it became easier for me just to mimic what they were teaching me. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's cool. I mean, in my household, I mean, I was the eldest in my household. We were a family of three. So, you know, my sister now, you know, when we look back, you know, she had space to express herself because now you're trying to find yourself here because you've got older siblings. She's even now living in the UK. She studied accounting. So, like, talk to me a little bit in terms of, like, in school, if you look back, what type of child were you when you look back in terms of school?
Wow.
Safe space.
my mom is a well, not now. She used to be a teacher.
Okay.
Very strict. You know, she used to make make me write sentences 100 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used
Good.
to write my name. Good handwriting, pronunciation.
Oh,
I
wow.
had to do it very well. But because my grandparents were there, at times they would sit with me and say, "Do it like this."
Oh, she's
She's coming.
she's coming.
You know, but I think the love from them made me do it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I went to my high school years, that is in Bethel High School, girls' school, I was then nurtured to be the person that I am today.
Okay.
You know, when you go to a girls' school, there's one side and there's the other side. So if you choose the other side, which is just taking advantage of learning the womanhood, what to do yourself for yourself, how to do for yourself, then it takes you a long way.
Okay.
You know, coming from a background where I was spoiled to doing for myself, to being myself, I think for me it groomed me so well.
Wow. Very
Yeah.
good.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And tell me, when growing up in the environment that you did, what is it through learning from this particular neighbor with the medicine that made you decide that this is the path that I'm going to take?
I'm not sure if I liked the white coat and the stethoscope. You know, but I said to the doctor, I said, sure, I like the other side of the table.
Yes.
I think it feels nice.
Yes.
Do you mind if I can just try it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I was in grade 11 by that time.
Okay.
Wow,
And
okay.
he looked at me and he said, Pammy, my nickname is Pammy. So, Pammy, you really need to study hard.
Yes.
Then I think from then I took it really seriously. You know, I studied most of the time.
Okay.
The only thing that I did was to eat, study,
Sure.
eat, to a point whereby I then even initiated classes for my mates
Oh,
wow.
really?
to teach them.
Okay.
And luckily, then I became third in the province.
Oh, wow.
In the
Look,
Northwest.
My
Yes, by grade
goodness.
12.
Yo.
Yeah.
Sure, that's impressive.
Yo, that's not a joke,
Thank
eh?
you. Yes. From then, I applied various universities, and I think my mom was very protective of me. She wanted me to go to Medunsa. I wanted to go to Cape Town and other provinces.
Yeah.
Somehow, I closed my eyes, opened, I was in Medunsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yes, I'm very proud of where I come from.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Medunsa is a very good varsity. You know, I think the way they do things also grooms. You not
Yes.
only learn, but you also learn other things
Okay.
than being just a medical doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, we're groomed very well from the university.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, you speak about the fact that it does take a lot of hard work to actually come through and study medicine and come out on the other side. What kept you going when the going got tough in medical school to actually be able to complete that degree? Because so many people start, but very few are able to complete.
It goes back to my humble beginnings. You know, my grandparents were church focused.
Okay.
My grandfather was a priest.
Okay.
My grandmother, a bit disabled, but very, very involved in church. So most of the time it was prayer, it was the Bible. You know, at times I would even pretend that I'm sick so that I don't go to church, so that I don't pray. So I think when I got to varsity, I missed that because I was used to that kind of a lifestyle. You know,
Yes.
I started going to church. They had passed away by that time, by the way.
Yeah.
I started going to church. I started just engaging a lot into church activities.
Yeah.
And my focus was there. So also it became a routine that it was school and church, school and church. And I think that for me worked out really well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It gave you that discipline as well.
Discipline, yes.
No, cool. And then for you, so I mean, at a certain point, you finally able to finish your degree, and then take us through the initial parts of your career and trying to figure out what makes the most sense for you before we even end up in this field of medical aestheticism. If that's-
Aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Okay, cool, great.
Great. I think just before I get there, there are quite a number of difficulties in the university, right? Especially when you're doing medicine. I mean, with the second year, you are exposed to cadavers. Those are dead people
Sure.
that you have to dissect. Basically, they're giving you the human body for the rest of the year to deal with so that you
Sure.
can learn from. You know, so that was my biggest challenge. I think for
That's
the
scary.
first 2 months, I couldn't eat meat.
Sure.
I can imagine, hey?
Yes, but also the type of people I chose to work with, they're very passionate. We could even sleep with the cadavers.
Ah,
We had bones that we had to take with us so that you can learn each and every bone of the body.
yes.
Yeah. You get to clinical years where you are then exposed to patients, where you are exposed to registrars, consultants, professors, and this is different kinds of personalities. It's not
Yes,
just
true.
one lecturer that teaches you, that you get to learn
Absolutely.
personality and learn from them and
Yeah.
engage. It's not just one person,
Yeah.
it's different people. So I think it requires someone with passion to become a doctor.
Yes.
Right? You will not just study medicine and become a doctor. It's a
Yes.
calling.
Yes.
It takes me back to how I loved just taking care of my grandparents.
Grandparents, yes.
And it was not only them. If they got a visit from a neighbor, I'm also looking at them, but you are limping. What's wrong?
Yeah.
You know, how can I help you? It became a
Yes.
passion.
Yes.
That even when we were doing ward rounds during my clinical years, when I couldn't get something right, then I knew it's not about what they said to me, what the professor said to me, what the consultant said to me. It's actually what I'm doing to the patient, what I'm giving to the patient, how I'm
Yes.
doing it to the
Yes.
patient. So it's very important to really dissect the passion into becoming a medical profession. When you get into the profession, you meet a number of people with a number of personality. You can
Yes.
have a patient that's very sweet and loving, they're understanding. And you're having someone that's not understanding,
Yeah.
that doesn't want to hear, that
Sure.
And they don't want to listen, hey?
Wow.
very important.
That's challenging.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to go back to your question, I went to Steve Biko.
Okay.
Yes, to do my internship.
Okay.
Yeah. I think once you're done with your medical degree, then they give you 5 options. Well, back in the days, before our struggle now, back in the days, they give you 5 options, the hospitals where you want to go and train.
Okay.
Right? So I chose Academic Hospital, right? That is Steve Biko, where I did my 2 years.
Okay.
Usually it's just to find out what kind of discipline you like.
Oh, 'cause that's how
Yeah.
they doing it. Okay.
Yes. I did all my rotation. I was like, I'm still not sure.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
I mean, there's gynecology, there's pediatric, there's anesthesiology, there's lots of them. Orthopedics. I did all the rotation.
Yes.
And at the end of the rotation, I folded my hands like,
Sure, you're still not sure.
still not sure.
Yeah.
Right? I asked a friend of mine, it's like, Pammy, you always liked looking nice. You know, a church girl, you know, your hair, your skin, your body. It's like, what do you mean? It's like,
Yeah.
are you sure you wanted to become a doctor? I'm like, yeah, I'm very sure, but I
Yeah.
don't know which discipline.
Yes.
Then I went to Langa to do my ComServe. I think that was the worst year of my medical.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Why do you say
Sure.
that?
Then you are alone. You need to make decisions alone.
Sure.
Your confidence you need to be sure of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know. Then I think because I was coming from an academic hospital, for me it was a little bit easier. But because I was not sure of exactly what I wanted to do, I was a bit shaky.
Okay.
So once I was done, I sat down. I said 6 months at home without working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 6 months without working.
That must have been tough.
It was. It was. Mentally, it was
I
for
can
myself.
imagine, yeah.
I think I did locums. There's something that we call locums as doctors.
Okay.
But I didn't like the GPs. I didn't have passion about it. But I learned a lot from it, you know, because most of the time I would be looking at the person, their confidence,
Yes.
you know, and that's how it came about that I wanted to do aesthetics. The skin. Yes. For me, what caught me is the confidence of the patient.
Yes.
The skin. Most of the illnesses surface through the skin. You can actually
Yes.
see when a person is not so well.
Yes, just from their skin.
Yes, I took it from there.
Wow.
And I said I wanted to open Dr. Langa Medical Spa.
Huh?
Yeah.
That is just so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that really does blow my mind, because it's so true. The skin does tell a story. When you're not feeling well and your skin is a bit dry, or it's flaky, or it's peeling, or you know you're getting spots and all these things, it tells an underlying story actually.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about the challenge of entering into a space that I think medical aesthetics, it's quite new of a discipline in comparison to your others. And even, I think, even among our people, in terms of knowing what that type of industry is about, what are the challenges you face in kind of getting people to understand what it is that you do?
Through you, through social media, you know, I think medical aesthetic is now starting to resurface. For me, what was a bit easier was using social media.
Okay.
Yes, I think we first started with Instagram.
Okay.
Yes, and we started explaining what is medical aesthetics.
Yes.
But the name was not so popular. I think that's how I went to medical spa. Because
Okay.
for me, it was about whether you are sick or not sick.
True.
You are supposed to see a doctor.
Yes.
That is why we say our vision and mission is holistic approach.
Okay.
You know, we only do not look at the skin, but we actually treat a patient holistically.
Yes.
Yes. So when you come and present with acne or pigmentation, something that we see on the skin,
Yeah.
we're actually not only treating that. We want to
Okay.
find the cause.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
Getting
it
to the
could be
root
a
of it.
gynecological cause.
Aha. Okay.
So then we do referrals. You need to go see a gynecologist while we are treating the skin problem. It could be a gut problem, right? We're treating the skin, but you need to sort out the gut problem.
Okay.
It could be a mental problem, right? You
Wow.
need to see a psychologist, a psychiatrist while we are treating the skin problems. And I promise you, those that do not understand the holistic approach in it, most of the time it doesn't work out because you are not treating the cause, but you are treating the symptoms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And for you as a doctor as well, now going into this area, I mean, because now it's, you know, you're an entrepreneur now, you're running your own space. I mean, I remember giving a talk last year to a group of doctors, and they spoke about that challenge of, it's not only mental, but it's just, okay, but now I'm in this space where I'm a doctor and I'm serving and I'm doing all of these things, and now I must be a business owner. I mean, how does this actually work? How did you navigate that challenge of being able to enter and as a business owner and running this medical spa?
Yeah. Wow. I must say I went into a river.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like I was drowning. You know, these are the things that we're not taught in
Yes.
medical school.
It's
So
true.
you go in and you open a practice. You don't go into it as a business because you're a medical doctor. You are giving to the community, right? So I think the entrepreneurial part comes second.
Yes.
It comes second nature,
Yes.
right? But also it doesn't come natural. What comes natural is the giving part, the being the doctor. Only as time goes by, then you get to see that actually I'm in business.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is why most of the time, a lot of doctors, I think, I don't have the stats, but most of us, we do struggle to just balance between being a doctor and being in business. And
Yes.
also because we are human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You become a mother, father,
True.
a sister, and as a doctor, you're not only a medical doctor. You become a
Absolutely.
teacher. You become a priest. You become a lot to your patient. So I do agree that it can get a lot, and I do think that we can benefit from having perhaps a session before we can finish medical school
Yes.
into understanding business.
The business side of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me something. When it comes to medical aesthetics, does a person go to a medical spa only when you have a problem, or can you go as a form of maintenance as well?
Okay. Two things, right? Either a problem or no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can
Okay.
take it. If the problem is already there,
Yes.
good. Please
Yeah.
do come and see us.
Yes.
To prevent the problem from occurring,
Yes.
you can also come and see us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that is why for me I said I do not want to call it Dr. Langa Medical Aesthetics or Dr. Langa Aesthetics because aesthetics mostly is what you see.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about aesthetic, you can talk about aesthetics of the room. It's
True.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the beauty. It's what you see with your
Yeah.
eyes. But the medical spa say we need you to come whether you're sick or not sick.
Yes.
So that we can look at those factors that we can tackle to make sure that you're fully functioning as a human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Sure. You know, for the entrepreneurs that are watching, what are some of the biggest business lessons that you have learned in operating your own medical spa that you could give to them as kind of, lessons that you've learned?
Wow, very interesting questions. It's very important to plan.
Okay.
Planning, for me, it took me about 6 months. Plan and understand. Initiate. A plan without action is zero.
Yes, true.
Initiate, do your research. Very much important. And once you have all the resources that you have, then go into it.
Okay.
Yes. Try and get it right, right? However, try get it right at most and repeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And repeat.
And repeats.
Yes. So once you get it right, you repeat
Yes.
again and again. Of course, there are learning curves
Yeah.
in business. Up and down, the up and down. Takes the up and try and repeat them all the time.
Yes.
And that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, cool, man. And I guess, as we're wrapping up, I actually recall, I think it was like last year where we got to connect at one of our F&B breakfasts. And I recall you had started a process looking to engage the F&B team around to be able to get some funding for an area that you wanted to move into. How did you find that experience? Wasn't it nerve-wracking now engaging them, trying to get them to assist?
I think it was a form of my research as well.
Okay.
In business, you're not alone.
Okay.
It's like driving. As much as you're driving your own car, there are other drivers on the road.
Yes.
So it's the same as in business. You're not driving alone. There are many other people there. And once you get a puncture, you can wave. Someone will stop eventually and help you.
Okay.
So I think with F&B, I'm very thankful and grateful that they showed me a certain part of business that I didn't know.
Okay.
I did have certain personnel come through, sit with me, and show me the do's and don'ts of the
Okay.
business. And amazingly, I mean, I had that at my disposal. But because I'm a medical doctor, most of the time I'm looking at how's your skin doing? What can we do? You know, I'm not looking at other aspects. So they were able to come in and assist and say, Dr. Langa, this is what you can do. This is how we can improve the business. This is how we can make sure the business is running smoothly while you make sure your patients are taken care of. So I'm very thankful.
Okay, cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
That's really, really brilliant.
Yes.
And tell me, if people are interested in connecting with you a little bit more, perhaps they're interested in getting a consultation, whether, as you say, whether they have a problem or do not have a problem with their skin, how do they go about connecting with you?
You can find us on social media, on Instagram. I think we also started a TikTok page.
Okay, nice.
Very
doctor.
interesting.
Yeah.
Modern
You
doctor,
know,
yeah.
I'm not driving alone. Dr. Langa Medical Spa on Instagram, on TikTok, Dr. Langa Medical Spa.
Okay.
However, you can give us a call as well on 012-003-6481. We also have a website, so you can see what we do, the number of services, www.lkmedicalspa.co.za.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Gosh, this has been such an interesting conversation, Papa Biz. What have been your biggest takeaways in our conversation with Dr. Langa?
No, the thing that I've taken away, I mean, as you've spoken, of course, about your journey and finding your passion and so on, it's just, migrating now as we become adult, and especially like as doctors, you sort of almost put yourself in a box, and then you think this is the area that I'd like to go into, and it's taking it as an area of service, and then it's, I love the way that you described, understanding how to become a business owner and an entrepreneur, which is that basically it's like you're in a river, because as entrepreneurs we actually all like that. The school system does not teach us how to be a business owner, and then at some point you have to immerse yourself to be able to understand what is actually required. And we all understand that if we don't immerse ourselves, we're not going to make it. So I really love that aspect, that it also still applies as to the good doctor, because we revere you guys. If you don't know, I'm telling you here today.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for the conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think my biggest takeaway is just always remain interested. I think when you saw somebody else within their own profession being a medical doctor, it sparked an interest in you, and it sparked curiosity in you to want to learn more, to explore more. And I think that is such an interesting thing, because the more we get interested in things, the more we get exposed to something different and new, and it can open a world of possibilities. So thank you so much for the conversation that we've had with you today. It's been very, very insightful. And I think even for those who are listening in who didn't even know about medical aesthetics, now this is something different that they can learn about, and also to know that there is a business side of medicine as well, which I think is really fantastic. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Remember to keep in touch with us by visiting www.monetizeyourbusiness.co.za. Don't forget to follow us on social media. That's at Monetize Your Business, to find out which city and township we're coming to next for our workshops, where we get to physically engage with you on topics that help you to grow and scale your business. What was your biggest aha moment from today's conversation? Leave a comment down below, and we will see you in our next podcast episode. Until then, it is bye-bye for now.